Now, this afternoon we turn our attention to Plato, and in dealing with Plato I want to follow the next couple of weeks this general format. We'll start with his epistemology, then look at his famous theory of forms, which of course is precisely what nominalism denies. Then how all this bears on his understanding of God and the cosmos. Then his understanding of the human soul. And finally, the good life. Ethics, social philosophy, etc. Now, to make the transition to Plato, let's cast our minds back into the pre-Socratics and the Sophists, where we've laid emphasis on two lines of thought that developed there. One has to do with that pre-scientific cosmology, the orderedness of nature as a whole, which for the Sophists in their skepticism raised questions about the possibility of knowing anything about the reality of what governs nature at all. And that epistemological question surfaces then because of the efforts at pre-scientific cosmology. The other line of thought we emphasized was the notion of moral order. The city-state and its proper ordering of justice, and the moral ordering of an individual's life. Now, that also raises epistemological questions. Questions about moral knowledge. Can we really know objective truth in ethical matters? Or are we again caught in the competition between knowledge claims and mere opinion? Are there universal moral ideals, or are we left hanging in some relativistic situation in which every man is the measure of all things? Protagoras, you remember. So whether we take the scientific cosmology approach or the moral order approach, the same questions about knowledge versus skepticism develop in the Sophists and, of course, in Socrates' attempt to counter the thinking of the Sophists. Now, Plato inherits that debate from Socrates. So that whether Plato is talking about the virtues or about his major concern over the improvement of the soul, or whether he's talking about the ordering of the city-state in his political writings, or whether he's doing some things, as he does in a few places, on cosmology, the order of nature. In all of those areas, the same question arises. How can we know for sure? How can we get beyond relative varying opinions? And we see that the sort of direction which Socrates started, the alternatives of rhetoric versus dialectic, come into focus in Plato's thinking. Now, this week you are reading Plato's Meno, among other dialogues. And that particular dialogue, the Meno, it gets right at the heart of this issue. and helps you to see the way in which it's related to ethical matters. The overall question that the Meno focuses on is the question that people still ask. I guess every parent asks it, and I hope most educators ask it. Can virtue be taught? Can virtue be taught? You know, we still talk about character development, moral education, moral development. Essentially, that's the question that the Meno is discussing, whether virtue can be taught. Now, it becomes obvious, of course, that to teach something requires, presumably, that one has some knowledge of the